listen up. Y'all, it's the queen of automation, Megan Juliano, here to give you inspiration. Founders and business owners gather round. I'ma show you how to build systems that'll astound. Streamline your processes, no need for...
Everyone, welcome back to the Queen of Automation podcast, where we talk about why technology is only good when it works and how I help you make it work. Today, I have something very special for you. Someone very special to introduce to you. Yes, it's another Brand Built member, and she is fantastic. But what makes her really freaking cool is that she has the same name as me, because why not? I want to introduce you to Megan Juliano. She is a recruiter, or I should say staffing. She owns a staffing company for leaders in the go-to-market space. And I'm going to let her jump in and introduce herself, but so freaking cool. Her content on LinkedIn has really resonated and kind of taken over the staffing world online because it's just different. She does it in a really, really kind of in-your-face, cut through the noise, because there's a lot of recruiters out there on LinkedIn, and I love her style. So I'm going to let her jump in, introduce herself. Hello, Megan. I'm so excited that you're here. Introduce yourself, tell us where you're calling from, and give us the nitty-gritty on what you're doing these days.
Thanks, Megan. It's funny, people have all different names for us. They call us staffers, recruiters, headhunters. You can call me whatever you want. But as you mentioned, I focus in the go-to-market space. So I staff anything from an account executive to business development representative to somebody in customer success, and even potentially a little bit in the future on maybe like the product team. And I'm from New Hampshire. I'm about 50 minutes from Boston. And yeah, did I cover everything?
East Coast. I grew up 2
go
hours
Celtics.
outside of Boston. Yes.
You did?
Go Celtics, go Red Sox, go Patriots.
I love that.
Yeah, it was great. I love New England. I miss it a lot. The Midwest is very similar in kind of, I think, New England-esque, if you will. Like when you go northern Wisconsin, people are, pretty similar, very nice, like New Hampshire, Vermont. Maybe not necessarily Boston, but New Hampshire people and Vermont people and Maine, generally pretty nice. Anyway. Awesome. I know, right? Like we're just going to go off on tangents today. That's what we're doing, apparently. I'm super happy that you're here because your content on LinkedIn is just killing it. And when it comes to like recruiters, staffing, like all of the words that you just said, I think there's this like, I don't even know what the right word that I'm looking for, but there's almost this stigma, right? There's almost this stigma of like, oh God, like another recruiter is reaching out to me. Oh God, like you get to that point in your career. I mean, maybe in your early 20s, it's like, woohoo, 17 recruiters contact me today. But now I'm like, oh man, like I don't want to talk to people. But you have built such a really cool brand for yourself that it's drawing people to you instead of the other way around. And that, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe that's not happening. Maybe I'm just thinking it's happening that way, but I feel like you're doing such a great job with your content and your personal brand marketing that people are coming to you and they want to learn about the jobs or the space that you're in, and like, who are you recruiting for? Like, who do you have this day, Megan? Like, what companies you're working with? And holy shit, right? Like, that's the way to do it. Like, why would you want to like go and have to send 10,000 instant messages or DMs to people and like try to find, like, reverse it? This is just the coolest thing ever to me because I can't even imagine. We have a few recruiters in the Brand Built community, and I always say to all of you that you guys have the most patience in the world because there's no way that I would ever be able to do this. I would get one really bad interview with somebody and I'd be like, I can't sit through any more of those. I'm done for the year. Like that was it. Like I'm done. Nope, no more. Yeah. So I digress because that to me is just crazy. So I would love to hear about that. Before we jump into that story though, speaking of being burnt out, right? Like how do you handle that, right? You know what I'm going to ask. We're going to get into the whole work-life balance crap, right? I call it crap because I don't believe in it. I think we have one life. Nobody needs to hear me soapbox about that again. But I would love to hear your perspective because to me, the recruiting industry is one of those industries, staffing, recruiting, whatever, that I feel like you could get burnout so easily. There's so many people out there that interview badly. And all day long, you're on the phone with these people. I'm like, how do you like, what do you do to like keep the balance or the integration in your life? Because I know you work from home. Like, how do you deal with that on a daily basis?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot when your product, walks and talks and has a mind of its own. So even if you think you got something, you got it to the finish line, there's still, the chance they may not show up, to the work the next day or whatever. I mean, usually you can try to vet those things out ahead of time, but it's interesting. Yeah. So to answer your question about that work-life balance thing, it's hard. I keep hearing the word alignment lately, which I really like, because I feel like balance is not, it's hard to really have balance. And for me personally, I mean, part of the reason why I decided to start my own company is because I wanted to be able to sort of run my day the way that I wanted, meaning like I wanted to be able to build my own schedule, go to the gym, start my day super early, go to the gym at 10 a.m., come back, get back to it. So I'm okay with like, I don't need to have like those, bookends necessarily every single day. I'm even okay with opening my laptop on a Saturday if it's something I'm enjoying doing. Obviously, there's parts to running the business that aren't my favorite, and I do get burnt out. Like just yesterday, I had a really good day, like lots of stuff going on, good stuff. I was so tired at the end of the day and so burnt out. And I guess I don't know if I'm really answering your question, but I think at that point I just had to be like, acknowledge I was burnt out and just be, lay down, try to read for a few minutes and just go to bed. And then I felt fine today when I got up. So not getting down on yourself about the burnout, and I guess taking each day as it comes.
I think that's a perfect answer, because first of all, what that answer entails is you do you, right? Like each of us is different, right? So each of us has a different alignment or balance or whatever whatever the heck you want to call it. Honestly, I don't care what you call it. We all only have one life, and you get to choose how you live it. You get to choose whether you're working or whether you're doing personal stuff, or whether you get to choose that. Even if you are working for somebody else as an employee, you have to set boundaries, right? Like if you're an employee out there, and I'm sure that you talk about this, and in fact, I know you do, I've seen it in your content, you have to set boundaries for your employer, right? Like not everyone is going to be able to be their own boss. They're just not, cut out to do that. Like that's just not their personality. But if you're going to go work for somebody else, awesome, great, good for you, that's fine. But make sure you're setting your boundaries so that you're building a lifestyle, right? That's my thing, is don't worry about work-life balance. Screw that. Build the lifestyle that you want. If you want to work on a Saturday, awesome. Do you. Like if you want to not work on a Saturday, awesome. Do you. Like it doesn't matter. It needs to be your choice. And sometimes I think that's where the whole like corporate America stigma comes in, right? Like people are so afraid of corporate America because all of the crap that you read out there that, oh my God, if I go get a corporate job, it's going to be 9 to 5 and I don't have choices. And don't let it be like that. The only person affects who affects how you react to the situation is yourself, right? So I don't know. I'm baffled by how you guys can get up and so like it doesn't do it all day. Like I like talking to people. I love talking to people, but I don't think I would like interviews. Like I don't think I would want to interview people. Totally can get why you're exhausted some days at the end of the, like I'm sure there's good days and bad days, right? Whatever. Anyway. So that's very cool. So let's jump back to what I was mentioning before, because I think that you have a really unique way of running and operating your business. You've chosen to lean into LinkedIn, right? Because that's what we all do in Brand Built. We're kind of obsessed. It's a little addictive. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But I want you to talk more about your process, because being a business owner, you're doing everything. You're doing sales, you're doing lead gen, you're doing marketing, you're doing content creation, you're doing the whole thing. And I know this because I know you and I know what your business is about and have got to experience and talk to you multiple times. So I want you to tell everybody like how you're managing all of it and how give us a kind of peel back the layers a little bit behind the scenes and tell us how you're running it all, because that's a lot, right? People see the magical, shiny, like, oh, look at the entrepreneurs. And it's like this shiny little, like, look, it's not that easy. Okay, there's no like easy button. Like I'm telling you, we're all suffering. No, I'm just kidding. We're not suffering, but it's still not as easy as like the Instagram pictures, right? Or like even the LinkedIn pictures. Like it's not that easy. Like, come on, let's be real. So break down the reel for us from your world.
Okay. Sorry, we glitched. There we go.
Oh, did I glitch?
Or it could have been me. I just want to make sure I wasn't talking over you. Yeah. So another plug for Brand Built, but I mean, a lot of what I've learned has come from that community. last year, and this is right around the time I started to get involved in brand build, maybe a little bit before, I don't know what happened. I just started to have like this shift in my life where, number one, I felt like I just needed to make a change. Like I just wasn't doing what I wanted to do anymore, and I wasn't sure what that was. And then number two, I started getting a feeling like almost like things were morphing, especially with sales, where like, yes, there's a time and a place for cold calls, but also this thing was happening where people were like learning how to market themselves online, on LinkedIn, and getting customers to come to them. And the more I started experimenting with that, I was sort of seeing that even with like the little that I knew about it, it was working for me and people were starting to notice me. And then when I joined Brand Built, I really was able to, come up with an actual strategy that seems to be working. Right now, what I do, I kind of got this from Nat, who's one of the leaders of Brand Built, where I start my day. Well, first off, I'll just start by saying I treat making content like it's part of my business. Like it is part of my daily tasks that I need to get done. It's not like when I can fit it in. It's like I need to have content lined up, preferably at all times. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't times where I was like flying by the seat of my pants and just like making up a post that morning.
At least 2 weeks ahead of time. Yeah. At least 2 weeks ahead of time. That's what I tell my team. And that's what we tell the Brand Build team, is that it has to be at least 2 weeks ahead of time. That's the minimum. Otherwise, as you know, go ahead and tell them what happens. Yes.
It is stressful. Yeah. And then it's like, because the best thing for me, I open my laptop at like 7 a.m. And like when I already have a post created and the picture, or video, whatever I'm posting there, it's like, boom, I posted that. And now I can go to engaging with, people who are commenting on my posts and other, other people that I want to support on the platform. If I don't do that, it's like taking me like a half hour to 45 minutes to like craft a post. And then before you know it, it's like 9 a.m. Now my whole day is thrown off. It's like, I want to get my LinkedIn stuff done by like 9. And then I take my dog out. Usually I try to go to the gym if I have a workout planned for that morning, come back. I usually schedule my meetings for the afternoons. Like 11:30 is okay. On my Eastern time, 11:30 for me is okay. But I really try to like schedule my meetings for the afternoon and block that time off. That way I have my time for LinkedIn and content. I'm trying to post more content on other platforms too, but mainly LinkedIn in the morning. Then when I come back from my workout, whatever, it gives me some time to check back in on LinkedIn, respond to messages and things, and do some proactive searches and stuff. And then if I have meetings, they're in the afternoon. And then I'll have another chunk from like, today I'm talking to you, but it's 4:23 Eastern time, here, my time. But normally like between 4 to 6, I might like do some more searches or work for clients and things.
Nice. Okay. So I want to talk about that part of it, searches part of it, because you're kind of a powerhouse when it comes to that, right? Like, so I want to hear the process, and frankly, I want to know the geek side of it, because that's me, right? Like, I want to know, you're touching way more people than I am, right? Because that's your job, right? Like, is to find as many people as possible to promote for these jobs, or the right jobs, or whatever. And I want to know what that process looks like for you. Do you keep them all in LinkedIn? Do you use a spreadsheet? Do you like write them down on a Post-it note? Like, I don't know. I just am curious how you keep all of the people and all of that organized, because that's a lot, right? Like, how many people would you say you touch a day? Like to try and find or recruit or staff or whatever the word we're using is.
Probably 25 to 30 people at least trying to connect with per day.
And that's like direct messages, right? Yeah.
It's funny. My strategy has changed a little bit. So I always grew up in recruiting using LinkedIn Recruiter, which is paid platform, kind of like similar to Sales Navigator. And I actually haven't gotten it since starting my own business. I've kept Sales Navigator and instead I've gone back and forth. Sometimes I'll send messages, but I found more success by actually just connecting with people first and then sending them a message, because when they connect back, it tells me that they're interested in being connected and they're active on LinkedIn. And I don't mind having the extra connection because they're in my network. The way I work too is I try not to be super transactional where I'm just doing specific searches for my clients. Of course, there's times where I have to do that, but I like to have people pipelined and meet with them even proactively before one of my clients. I mean, when I say clients, by the way, that means like a company that's hiring from me.
Right.
So if I meet with somebody awesome too, I might even just I might just even share them with a client and just say, hey, I met with this awesome person. Their background is in this. I thought it aligned with your company. Like, would you love to meet with them? I just set up a coffee meeting actually for next week with one of my clients who isn't even hiring anymore, with somebody I happened to just meet that was in the same area of their office. So I love making those types of connections too.
That's very cool. And are you using Sales Nav then? Sort of, kind of? Because I know like Nat's a big I hate Sales Navigator. It's just not, but again, I'm not, like, I don't need that type of connection. And it just frustrates me. But so Anthony and our team who does sales for us in general, he uses it all day long. Like he's in there all day long and he creates groups like I guess there lists, right? He creates lists in Navigator and then adds the people to the lists. And then he's got like different lists according to his pipeline or something like that. And so I just find it fascinating. I guess I would find it frustrating only because technically, right, you can't connect anything to Navigator or LinkedIn because it violates terms of service. So to keep track of it, you have to have two separate systems, which in Megan's world is a no-go. There's no copying and pasting, right? Like there should always be automation but this is the one area where I know there's lots of people out there doing it. This is the one area where if you actually care about LinkedIn, you have to have two things, right? Like you have to have some sort of database, spreadsheets, Airtable, I don't know, whatever system. And then you have LinkedIn over here. So are you using both systems or are you just solely using Navigator and keeping track with lists?
Yeah, I use Navigator to do that, to make the lists and to find people and then connect with them or send a message if I'm like dying to, if I don't care about using up the credit and I want to hopefully get it's worth the shot to just send a message and not wait on the connect. And then I do use a CRM too, where I store my contacts. The way I do that now is I'll put contacts in the CRM that I've had like a lot of back and forth with on LinkedIn, or people that I've actually met with and they're like in my inventory or they're a current client, or prospect. Where was I going with that? But yeah, I don't put everything, like every conversation, into the CRM. And I guess recruiters have to have a pretty good memory, I guess, to remember how to find people and be able to search for them.
I guess that's the side of the recruiting world that I'm always so curious about and I know you have a homegrown CRM, right? So not homegrown, but somebody built it for you. What is it built in? Do you mind me asking? Am I allowed to ask that? Or is it just built on a database somewhere?
Yeah, you can ask that. It's one of my friend's companies. It's called Invivo. I don't know what it's built on. I don't know.
Interesting. Well, now we have to investigate, but that's okay because I think it's very cool that you even use a CRM, right? Because you're a very small business and kudos to you because most people don't. So shout out to Megan for using a CRM and rewind. No, there's no people are still using spreadsheets. They're still using Airtable. And even Airtable is better than just a generic spreadsheet. Yeah. Anyway, so use a CRM, people. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then I'm more ahead of the game than I thought.
Yes, you are, because the fact that you have a database of people. Oh my gosh, I tell you, it's. I had a client once who kept all of her prospects on her personal cell phone, like all of their information on her personal cell phone, and I was just like, please God, don't get audited. Like, you're gonna get sued. Like what? Anyway, it's just weird. People do weird shit, and it just happens when you're like a solopreneur or a very small. People don't know what they don't know, and they just trudge forward. So, yes, kudos to you. CRMs are good. They manage your data wonderfully. I would love to talk about that though. So not putting every prospect in, which is probably a good thing because you're only putting, do you have a newsletter or like, are you marketing to your list in the CRM in a way at all?
Not yet. That Invivo does offer that. And that'll probably be a next step for me. I mean, I don't know your thoughts on this, but it seems to be important to collect email addresses too and not just rely on social media platforms, right?
Yeah. So everyone wants, yes, absolutely 100%, because social media blows up tomorrow. You have no way of contacting your customers, right? You have no way of contacting anyone, whether it's a company customer or a person that you're recruiting, right? You're that list. And using a database, a CRM database, gives you the opportunity to segment too, right? So you can put your company clients in there, and then you can put the actual, like, if you want to recruit Megan for a job, you can put that list in there, right? So you have And I don't know. I mean, so you have customers, and then what are you calling these people? Recruiter or recruitees? Yeah, you know what I mean.
Usually like candidates, job seekers.
There you go. That's way better. I like recruitees. That's way too hard to say. So so then you can segment into customers and candidates. And then the really good thing about you being such an amazing content creator, you should consider a newsletter. Seriously, because you could create content, even if it's once a month, you're touching those people. And let's say, like, if you're hitting 23 to 24 candidates a day, right? And maybe you don't like all of them, whatever. If you put a bunch of them, we'll say a handful, we'll say 10, at least 10 of them on your list, right? Like if you can get them in your list, you can get their email somehow. And the ones that you really like or really making a connection with, and they're on your list, but maybe they don't get picked for a job. They don't get hired, right? Like they didn't get selected. Now you don't lose track of them. And now, because they're not going to remember you, you might remember them because you have them in your list, right? Like, yeah, I talked to Megan Donnelly a year ago and she was really good at tech. I'm going to go talk to her again. And I'm going to look at you and go, who the heck are you? I don't remember you. Right? Because usually when somebody's job searching, they're talking to every recruiter that's ever contacting them. They're looking at all the companies, right? They're talking to everybody. They're not going to remember you. But if you have some sort of newsletter with your database, because you already have a database, so you're already not 80% of the way there, right? Unless there's no emails. We can work on that. We'll talk. But you're already 80% of the way there, right? Like you've got a list of people. Send them information. I don't know necessarily what kind of information, and you could segment by your customers too if there's different niches. Because don't you remind me again? Technology. No, what are the companies that you're searching for?
Yeah. So my background for the last 5 years was in tech recruiting. And then when I started my own company, I made a pivot to focus more on like marketing and sales roles. And then I kind of found my space in this go-to-market space.
Okay. So it's go-to-market for any type of company, or is it go-to-market for tech companies, or go-to-market for like certain types of companies?
Yeah, pretty much tech companies. That seems to be, again, I kind of through trial and error, that's been the space that I sort of just fell into, and I've decided to run with it because it's a cool space. I mean, obviously it's mostly startups and things, which is fun. It's cool to see new products and
it's a great
learn
space
what's going on up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also a really great way for you to touch people on a newsletter too. I mean, there's a lot of tech newsletters and stuff out there, but if you figured out how to do like technology recruiting and somehow and could do it for both the customer side and the candidate side, you'd have a really sweet spot to kind of slide into. Even for candidates, what I love about your LinkedIn content is you're not just focused on the companies, you're actually focused on the people looking for jobs, which is amazing to me because I feel like there's a lot more like focusing on the companies and like how to recruit versus focusing on the people who also like need to find jobs. I feel like it's harder for the job seeker than it is for the company. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have no idea, but you have a really great opportunity to kind of slide into that space.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy.
Now you have my No, those are great ideas. Now I'm definitely thinking about doing this. I think that's a good idea too, as you mentioned before, to keep candidates sort of warm, because that's really my style again, is I like to keep in touch with people. I don't want to always start from square one. The best case scenario is if a candidate of mine, meaning like somebody seeking a job, maybe they end up landing somewhere and then they move on, whatever happens. And then we catch up again in a couple of years and now they're in a hiring seat and we can work together that way. That's like my favorite part of this job, is just seeing people progress in their careers.
Or even
and then
sorry, go ahead. No, you go.
No, you go.
I was going to say, or even, so how I got my corporate job was, I know some recruiters are okay with this and some are not, was a little shady because she recruited me from another company. I was working for a startup and she recruited me and said, hey, I know you're not actively looking for a job right now, but this is a huge step for your career and where you want to go with your life and your career. And she kind of just slid it in there. And I was like, heck yeah, I've got to do this. Right. Like, and obviously it was a big pay increase. But the big thing was it was that career shift, right? Like in most people, at least if they're going the corporate track, the goal is to grow and career stack and move up. unless you just want to be happy where you are and not do that. I guess, I don't know. I'm sure there's people out there that do that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
That's a really great way to keep in touch with those people too. You could even, and I don't know how this works, you probably can't do that because of non-compete. Never mind. Ignore me. I get really excited about the whole like newsletter idea for you because I feel like there's lots of things you could do with it creatively. Anyway.
Yeah. One other thing, what I was going to say before too, which you made me think of is I wonder too, it'd be interesting to see if I were to start a newsletter, how many people I could capture that have signed up that maybe are looking at my LinkedIn content now and they're just kind of like lurking in the shadows and I have no idea that they're even interested in what I'm doing. You know, they can't hide, right, if they're signing up for your newsletter.
Absolutely. You know, because I know there's probably like certain non-competes. What I was going to say, it would be really cool if like if you had an active looking list of the candidates, like people that are like, you could even segment, if you did it right, you'd have active candidates and non-active candidates. So people who are looking right now, because you could send them the list of jobs that you have open. Again, I don't know if you can do that because of non-compete, but technically you could because they're I don't know. See, some of that stuff you'd have to look into, but that would be really cool because that's an active way to keep them interested. And maybe there's people on your list that are good for, or they are interested in a job that you wouldn't even think they would be. I don't know. Lots of cool like
Good idea. I like that.
We're going to have a conversation. You and I are going to have a conversation and pretty soon Megan's going to have this amazing recruiting technology newsletter. That's not what it's going to be called because it's going to be way cooler than that. But yes, it's going to be fun. I think we should do that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I love that.
All right, guys and girls and people listening, I think, yeah, we're at time. We're over time. We had such a good conversation. All right, that's okay. So I want you to tell everybody where they can find you and how they can get in touch with you if they want to reach out. And obviously, if you're looking for a job, you should absolutely contact Megan if you're looking for a job in tech space in the go-to-market area. Or not, if you just want to talk to her. She's very fun to talk to. So do that too. But yeah, tell everybody where they can find you, how they can contact you, and we'll drop that info in the show notes too.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Megan. Yeah. So if you're looking for a role in go-to-market space or if you're hiring, love to talk to you. You can obviously find me on LinkedIn. I love it there. I'm active. I post almost every day. I'm also on some other platforms now on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, which I really don't do anything with. I think my handle's on.
Account? What am I going to do with you? That's right. She's still young and fun and wants to like horrible.
I have fun with it. Kidding. I can't remember my handle though. I think it's Megan_Juliano.
All right. We are going to go out and find that now because now I have to watch you on TikTok because why not, right?
Yeah, follow me on TikTok.
Is it videos of your dog and cat? Because I feel like that's what I'm kidding. I'm so joking. Yeah.
My dog hasn't made any appearances yet.
Well, that's a
Not
shame.
yet. I know.
Find Megan on LinkedIn. We'll drop her link in there. Do you have an email or a website that you want to drop as well?
Oh yeah. Yep. My website is digistaffingsolutions.com and email is megan@digistaffingsolutions.com. Thanks so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you for being here. All right, everybody. Remember, technology is only good when it works, and we will see you next week. Bye.